On the dating show, the film emperor and I were asked what we liked about our first love. He lowered his head and smiled shyly. She sat next to me at the time. I scored 140 in math, while she scored 14. I wanted to see what was going on in her head. I sneered repeatedly. I scored 90 in history, while he scored 3. I wanted to see what kind of traitor he was. When I saw Jiang Yanchuan's interview, I had just been trending on social media for secretly reading a novel on set. In the video, I'm holding the script, reading it with great interest. The next second, the camera zooms in, revealing the phone hidden within the script. On the screen is clearly the recently popular romance novel. Ha ha ha. So even female celebrities love reading. The CEO falls in love with me. I have to say, I used to sneak peeks at novels just like this when I was in school, requesting a celebrity's book list. Wait, have you all seen Jiang Yanchuan's trending topic? I feel like something's off about it. Seeing this comment, I got a bit curious and clicked into Jiang Yanchuan's trending topic. It's a video of him being interviewed. The host asked him, "Have you ever done something you feel sorry for someone else?" Jiang Yanchuan was stunned for a few seconds, then smiled sheepishly. "Yes, in high school, my desk mate secretly read a novel in class and cried, and the teacher caught her on the spot. Then I told the teacher that she cried because she was never called on to answer questions." My fist gradually clenched tighter. Jiang Yanchuan continued, "After that, the teacher called on her every class, and she got so angry she blocked me." The entire screen was filled with comments laughing out loud. Only I, with a crack, crushed the potato chips in my hand to pieces. The unlucky deskmate who was forced to answer questions for a whole semester because of Jiang Yanchuan is me. Moreover, the teacher was probably worried that I might develop psychological issues that very day. They informed all the teachers in the office that I must be called on in class from then on, so as not to dampen my enthusiasm for learning. From that day on, I basically never sat down during class. Although my grades improved dramatically, I still didn't speak to Jiang Yanchuan for nearly half a month. As the video ended, the trending topics had already started to explode. What a coincidence. Xiaoyu was just caught reading a novel on set. I think I've discovered something incredible. I'm just curious, is this some new way of promoting a CP? Or are they really high school classmates? Some even advised me that it's best not to be in the same crew as Jiang Yanchuan in the future. I stared at this comment and gave it a like. If nothing unexpected happens, it won't, because Jiang Yanchuan and I haven't spoken in almost half a year. Too, Jiang Yanchuan and I broke up 6 months ago. Back then, to avoid any lingering entanglements, I deliberately found an excuse he couldn't refute. I said, "I hate men who even share with me when they take a shit." Jiang Yanchuan was deeply hurt by me at that moment because he is a chatterbox, the kind who would die on the spot if he had to endure a 10-minute Cold War. That's why, after we broke up, we deleted all contact information. We even tried our best to avoid breathing the same air. If he was at an event, I would definitely not show up. And Jiang Yanchuan, as the publicity committee member in the circle, he absolutely refuses to book out entire theaters for any work I'm involved in. You could say we're like fire and water, completely incompatible. However, after seeing the buzz generated by my association with Jiang Yanchuan, the company got excited. They even spent a fortune to bring Jiang Yanchuan on board, so we could appear together on a dating show. I refused on the spot. Are you kidding me? We agreed to never see each other again, but my agent, Sister Song, gave me a sidelong glance. "Do you have a problem with money?" I immediately lost my nerve. After a long while, she comforted me again. "You don't have to do much, just go and be there for a few episodes, ride the wave of popularity, and after it's over, everything will go back to how it was." I remained silent. We broke up with such a huge fight, and now we're supposed to be on a dating show together. Who came up with this idea? Sister Song sat beside me, earnestly persuading me. Take advantage of the fact that everyone now knows the high school classmate who was tricked by Jiang Yanchuan is you. Ride this wave of popularity while you can. Even if the real person comes forward later, it won't matter. You never admitted it, right? Me. It suddenly came back to me. She didn't know that Jiang Yanchuan and I had dated. After a few more attempts to persuade me, Sister Song lost her patience and pulled out her trump card. "If you don't agree, I'll post all your novel browsing history on Weibo." I jolted in shock. "Don't." "I'll do it. I don't just read pure romance novels. If my browsing history were posted online, I would definitely die of embarrassment. After all, reading a bit of everything just helps me maintain a balanced diet." 3. Sister Song works fast. I agreed, and within 2 days, she had me packed up and launched into a dating show. On the first day of filming, the guests were asked what they liked about their first love. Everyone present either praised their personality or their good looks. Only Jiang Yanchuan lowered his head and smiled shyly. She was sitting next to me. At the time, I scored 140 in math, while she scored 14. I really wanted to see what was going on in her head. I couldn't help but sneer from the side. Then have you ever seen someone score 0 in math, who hasn't had a subject they were weak in? He even had subjects he failed back then. A flicker of amusement crossed Jiang Yanchuan's eyes. Yes, I have. During her third mock exam, she only guessed one multiple-choice question correctly in math, and even changed it to the wrong answer because she didn't trust herself, ending up with a score of 0. I felt a surge of blood choking in my throat. Before I could adjust my expression, the camera turned toward me. I shot Jiang Yanchuan a glare and continued the topic, saying, he scored only 3 points in history back then, so I wanted to see what kind of Japanese pirate he was. Jiang Yanchuan's smile froze. I raised my eyebrows smugly. Besides, he was always cheerful back then. I thought he was brave enough to face his own shortcomings, and that's why I fell for him. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the room burst into laughter, except for Jiang Yanchuan, including the barrage comments. I'm telling you too, don't make it too obvious. One scored 14 in math, the other got 3 in history. What a pair of geniuses. Ha ha ha. I'm really worried about their kids. With this combination, not a single subject will be decent, right? Get back together at light speed, lock it in, and I'll swallow the key, because the discussion was too heated. A wave of discussion on the topic, what does your partner like about you? Even surged on Weibo. I asked my boyfriend what he likes about me. He said it was the first time he saw someone throw a shot put -1 meter, so clumsy that he really liked it. Can anyone relate? He said it was the first time he saw someone's eye glow, like the Monkey King, and it totally captivated him, but that was actually my highlighter, no joke. My boyfriend scored 6 points on a politics exam. I wanted to see just how morally bankrupt he really is. He said he's never seen a paper airplane fly and hit the teacher in the face. My boyfriend is really good at hide and seek. It's been over 10 years, and I still haven't found him. For Jiang Yanchuan and I were forcibly paired into the same group because of our overwhelming popularity. The other couple's date spots were all movie theaters and hot pot restaurants. Only Jiang Yanchuan and I are in the escape room. It's a horror-themed one, the kind where you have to solve puzzles to get out. Looking at the task card in my hand, I cautiously ask, what kind of puzzles? Forget about math, I'd be bored to death in there. The director smiled mysteriously, the kind you're best at. I stared at him for a minute, but couldn't detect any signs of lying on his face. Instantly, I felt more confident. Before entering the escape room, I patted Jiang Yanchuan on the shoulder and said, don't be scared, I'll try to get out as quickly as possible. Jiang Yanchuan's lips twitched, but he said nothing. At first, the puzzles weren't too difficult, and Jiang Yanchuan and I worked together seamlessly, but the atmosphere suddenly took a terrifying turn. I was walking with Jiang Yanchuan when an NPC rushed out from a nearby house and dragged me away. I screamed, turned around, and tightly hugged Jiang Yanchuan's waist. Jiang Yanchuan then engaged in a fierce tug-of-war with the NPC. Jiang Yanchuan really reached out and hugged her so naturally. Keep going, NPC. Hee, take more photos. I love watching this. Seeing that he couldn't outcompete Jiang Yanchuan, the NPC had no choice but to let go and called a few more people over. Jiang Yanchuan and I panicked and fled into a nearby dark room without thinking. As soon as the door closed, the sound of the small dark room automatically locking echoed. Suddenly, a voice came over the broadcast. The next 3 questions will be answered by Jiang Yanchuan. Xiao, you cannot see the full questions but may provide clues. Please follow the rules, otherwise, you will be sent to the small dark room for 5 minutes. Hearing this, I suddenly had a bad feeling. Sure enough, it was a history question, which Jiang Yanchuan was least skilled at, and the questions are full of traps. The barrage is already in stitches. Ha ha ha, is Jiang Yanchuan's half-step back for real? This is the first time I've seen someone's smile disappear faster than the money in my wallet. I bet I won't be able to escape this escape room in 3 hours. Go for it, Yuzu, we're counting on you. I was taken to the room next to Jiang Yanchuan's. Looking at the obvious time points on the question, I sighed. Jiang Yanchuan always hated memorizing schedules the most when he was in school. How am I supposed to give him a hint? While I was still pondering, Jiang Yanchuan had already started stepping into traps. Seeing him about to choose the most absurd answer without hesitation, I quickly stopped him. Stop right there. Jiang Yanchuan shuddered and obediently withdrew his hand. After thinking for a long time, I still gave Jiang Yanchuan clues using various homophonic puns. I thought there wouldn't be any more of this kind of segment next, but the final question turned out to be math. The broadcast timely reminded, this question is to be completed with Jiang Yanchuan's guidance. The answer can be given directly, but the process must be written by Qiao Yu. My legs went weak, and I almost knelt on the ground. Jiang Yanchuan couldn't save my math grades throughout all 3 years of high school. We have to rely on this to complete the task. How is that even possible? Jiang Yanchuan rolled up his sleeves, a smile spreading from the corners of his eyes to his brows. Come on, I'll explain it to you. In an instant, my eyes turned red. Don't ask, just blame it on the math. Qiao Yu is about to cry. Ha ha ha, see, one is bad at history, the other is bad at math, who still won't admit they were each other's first love. Where is the escape room? Avoid this trap. Those who scored 10 in math should steer clear. This question is particularly simple. I used to be able to solve it in 20 minutes, but unfortunately, I'm a college student now. No way, it's so difficult. Are you trying to force Qiao Yu to take the postgraduate entrance exam? The barrage was filled with laughter, but I tugged on Jiang Yanchuan's sleeve. What should I do? I really don't understand. Back in the day, I was the kind of student who was so biased in my studies that my math teacher would rub his hands together and ask me if I had some kind of issue with him. Jiang Yanchuan clearly understood as well that I was born with half a brain for math. He thought for a moment, then leaned down and whispered in my ear, I'll read out the steps, and you write them down. After all, I already said I could give you the answer. My eyes lit up, but soon enough, neither Jiang Yanchuan nor I could laugh anymore. I couldn't recognize all the mathematical symbols back then, and I don't remember them now either. He recited for a long time, but I only managed to write down a few letters. Jiang Yanchuan took a few deep breaths, wrote a few formulas on the paper, and then continued in a low voice, I've circled all the symbols for you. Read the answer again. I sighed, struggled for a long time, and finally finished that problem. Later on, Jiang Yanchuan was practically holding my hand to teach me how to write. Seeing that my eyes were almost swollen from crying, the production team didn't say much and just let me and Jiang Yanchuan off the hook. Anyway, all the sweet moments were recorded, and the topic was already covered. If they continued any further, the ones suffering would be them. After all, no one wants to hear the same math problem 10 times. No one. 5. After completing the escape room task, Jiang Yanchuan and I joined the other guests. All the other guests were sweet and affectionate, but Jiang Yanchuan and I remained expressionless, as if drained of all our energy. The actress Lin Shuang, who was on good terms with me, curiously leaned in. Weren't you guys going to play an escape room? How did you end up looking like this? As she leaned in, she was still holding flowers in her hands. I sighed, probably because we were tormented all afternoon. She looked at me, then at Jiang Yanchuan, as if she understood something, so she shoved the flowers into my arms. Hold these for me for a bit, I'm exhausted. She used too much force, and I stumbled back 2 steps right into Jiang Yanchuan's arms. He was on the phone with one hand, while the other instinctively steadied me. Lin Shuang made a V sign with her fingers and even mouthed to me, I can only help you this much. I glared at her. Just then, Jiang Yanchuan hung up the phone and casually took the flowers from my hand. For me, thank you. As he said this, the corners of his mouth were practically stretched to the back of his ears. Oh, look at him, so cheap. At least he knows to say thank you. You're quite polite, aren't you? Qiao Yu is completely stunned. Ha ha ha. I was just about to say that this wasn't for him, but then I saw him already holding the flowers and showing them off everywhere. While the young couple was preparing ingredients together, he walked over with a bouquet of flowers and said, You asked what I'm having for dinner. Oh, right. Yuzi just gave me a bunch of flowers. While they were admiring the night view, he walked past them and remarked, The night view is really beautiful, but not as beautiful as the flowers Yuzi gave me. Just as he was about to show off in front of Lin Shuang, I rushed over and grabbed him, saying, I'm just holding these flowers for Lin Shuang. They're not for you. Jiang Yanchuan's smile instantly vanished. He stuffed the flowers into my arms. Then I'll give them back to you. It's okay if I didn't receive a gift. He looked quite aggrieved. Oh, now he's acting all wronged. It's okay if I didn't receive a gift. Translation, everyone else got gifts, but I didn't. I'm so angry and upset. Jiang Yanchuan's resentment could sustain 10 evil sword immortals. Feeling a bit guilty, I planned to return the flowers to Lin Shuang and then order a bouquet for Jiang Yanchuan. No choice, I have to appease him. On my way to find Lin Shuang, Jiang Yanchuan followed behind me. He didn't say a word, just looked at me with a resentful gaze. It sent chills down my spine. No, If I don't manage to soothe him tonight, I probably won't be able to sleep until midnight. Thinking of this, I quickened my pace and, as soon as I saw Lin Shuang, shoved the flowers into her hands. Your flowers, take them quickly. Lin Shuang looked at Jiang Yanchuan behind me and understood again. She feigned surprise. Aren't these flowers for Jiang Yanchuan? Why give them to me? Did you have a fight? I widened my eyes. Jiang Yanchuan had somehow already come to stand beside me from the moment he heard Lin Shuang's words. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl upward when I looked at him. He pretended to be serious again. His face looked like it was twitching. Lin Shuang pushed the flowers back into my arms, winking repeatedly. If you want to give them, just give them. There's no need to feel embarrassed. If you're too shy, I can give them for you. Before Lin Shuang could finish speaking, Jiang Yanchuan took the flowers on his own accord. No need to trouble you. Looking at his delighted expression, I couldn't bring myself to dampen his spirits any further. In the end, the barrage was all in sync. Wow, Yuzu is so thoughtful. The flowers are really beautiful. Jiang Yanchuan is so lucky. Giving flowers is really romantic. They even went so far as to fabricate evidence across various social media platforms, just to make the act seem more convincing, successfully landing me and Jiang Yanchuan on the trending list. Hashtag Qiaoyu Jiang Yanchuan sending flowers hashtag Jiang Yanchuan he's so in love hashtag Jiang Yanchuan. How did you know Yuzu sent me flowers hashtag. When I saw these trending topics, I couldn't help but glance at Jiang Yanchuan. He was sitting there replying to fans' comments, still holding the flowers in his hand. I tentatively asked, "You're not planning to sleep with them tonight, are you?" That must be so uncomfortable. Jiang Yanchuan actually thought about it seriously for a few seconds. It definitely wouldn't work to sleep while holding it. It would wither by tomorrow morning. I breathed a sigh of relief, thinking I should quickly find an opportunity to give Jiang Yanchuan another gift. Otherwise, looking at this bouquet every day, I really feel so guilty. 6. Because I played a horror escape room and did math problems in the afternoon. I had a nightmare directly that night. I dreamed that Jiang Yanchuan turned into a zombie, and I had to solve 100 math problems to restore him to normal. In the dream, I didn't hesitate at all and immediately started reciting formulas and solving problems. But as I kept going, I broke down. It's endless, absolutely endless. Seeing Jiang Yanchuan's handsome face starting to grow white hairs, I burst into tears with a loud wah. While crying, I also reached out to grab a formula from another table and then I fell right out of bed. The dream ended, but my tears were still wet. Jiang Yanchuan heard the noise and came in, only to find me sitting on the floor, crying so hard I could barely catch my breath. Did you hurt yourself from the fall, or did you have a nightmare? I wiped away my tears. Both. I dreamed you mutated, and it scared me to death. Jiang Yanchuan scooped me up from the ground and casually asked, "What did you turn into? Scared that much? You even fell to the ground. If you're worried about me, just say it. Why are you crying?" To save face, I blurted out, "Who's worried about you? You just look so ugly after mutating." That I cried out of fright. Jiang Yanchuan seemed unconvinced. Getting up to fetch a towel from the bathroom to wipe my face, I watched him, noticing he seemed to be in a good mood, and repeated, "It really wasn't because I was worried about you." Jiang Yanchuan nodded and told me to lie back down and go to sleep. Before leaving, he couldn't help but ask, "What did I look like when I mutated? It scared you that much?" I pulled the blanket up higher. "It's covered in white fur, has green eyes, and fangs." Jiang Yanchuan's face darkened. "Go to sleep, I'll leave the light on for you. If you get scared, call me." 7. The next activity was to cook each other's favorite dish. Jiang Yanchuan and I used to cook for ourselves when we lived together before, so I wasn't worried at all. But Jiang Yanchuan didn't seem to be in good shape. He either cut his hand or got splashed with oil while cooking. In the end, the dishes were made, but Jiang Yanchuan's hands were covered in wounds. I had no choice but to treat his injuries first, applying medicine while teasing him. "Jiang Yanchuan, how long has it been? You've already forgotten how to cook." Jiang Yanchuan winced in pain. "No one eats the food I make, and I can't be bothered to cook for myself either." Tisk, little Jiang is starting to play the sympathy card again to win Qiaoyu's pity. "Qiaoyu, hurry up and eat the food he made. Look at how pitiful the kid is." No wonder Jiang Yanchuan gained weight a while ago. It was from eating takeout. "Hurry up and bandage him, Sister Qiao. The wound is about to heal." Jiang Yanchuan watched me bandage him and suddenly said, "Wrap it one more time. If it gets wet and inflamed, it'll hurt even more." I rolled my eyes at him. "Why wrap it so thick? It's the middle of summer. Are you trying to breed maggots? Jiang Yanchuan pouted and said nothing more. The barrage began to mercilessly mock him. Ha 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 ha. Yuzi's eyes are practically rolling to the back of her head. LOL. Jiang Yanchuan's attempt to play the victim failed. Xiao Yu, don't play dumb with me. Jiang Yanchuan used his injured hand as an excuse to stick by my side. Whenever I got angry with him, he would pitifully hold his hand and say, "It only stops hurting when I'm next to you." I had no choice but to let him continue following me. 8. Since Jiang Yanchuan was injured, we didn't participate in the evening activities and stayed at the villa. I curled up on the sofa, continuing to read the novel I had been following recently. During that time, Jiang Yanchuan kept trying to get my attention. What are you reading? Is it good? I'm so bored. Can you send me a link? I want to watch it too. Is the novel more interesting than me? Pay attention to me. At that moment, I was at the sweetest part of the story, squirming on the sofa like a worm. Jiang Yanchuan was still chattering away. You've been watching for so long. Isn't it time to look at me for a while? I glared at him. Shut up. Jiang Yanchuan really shut up. Then I lay back on the sofa and continued to twist. When I finished reading an article, I found him still sitting there, staring at me eagerly. I instinctively turned my phone face down and asked him what he wanted. Just as Jiang Yanchuan was about to speak, the other guests hurriedly rushed in. They were all drenched like drowned rats. It's raining outside, so their outdoor activities have to be cancelled following the online poll. The production team has us playing games together. The first one to die in the game has to randomly pick a question from the netizens to answer to test our chemistry. We even have to write our answers together on a whiteboard. I sat beside Jiang Yanchuan, feeling a bit nervous. You have to make sure you survive until the end. Later, I'll definitely be the first one eliminated, Jiang Yanchuan said confidently. No, you won't. Lin Shuang was right beside us. Hearing this, she raised an eyebrow at me. He's oddly confident in you. Jiang Yanchuan also smiled. She's definitely going to win. I don't even believe it myself. But in the following game, while shouting for Jiang Yanchuan to save me, I used a salted fish to knock 2 guests flying. Even when I was about to fall and get eliminated, just shouting "save me" would successfully take down 1 guest, Jiang Yanchuan, and I won the championship without any suspense. Lin Shuang watched in awe. You're too fierce, calling for help while slapping several people away, Jiang Yanchuan explained. She's always been like this when playing games. Every time she shouts "save me, we're sure to win." I nudged him with my elbow, telling him not to speak carelessly. The barrage of comments showed they all understood. Xiao Yu is so stubborn, ha ha ha, still hiding it even now. I'm really curious about what Jiang Yanchuan did to offend her, to the point where she won't even give him a title. I guess it's because Jiang Yanchuan interrupted her while she was reading a novel. Oh, then Jiang Yanchuan deserves it. I thought Jiang Yanchuan and I could keep winning all night, but after a few rounds, we started losing continuously. I flexed my fingers and said to Jiang Yanchuan, this skin is unlucky. Let's go change it quickly. We changed over a dozen skins, but Jiang Yanchuan and I still didn't win. I can only start answering the netizens' questions. The director, looking as if he had finally succeeded, began reading the question. May I ask why both of you agreed to participate in this variety show? I wrote truthfully. My agent threatened me, saying that if I didn't come, she would share my reading list. I didn't want to face social death, so I came, and Jiang Yanchuan wrote, because the person I like is here. The live audience and the barrage both fell silent for a few seconds. Jiang Yanchuan, I get it. So I'm still not as important as your novel. Jiang Yanchuan was completely stunned. Ha ha ha. So what book is Xiao Yu reading? And why is she afraid of her agent exposing it? I think I understand. And I'd like to request a book list. I'd like one too. I silently covered my face with a whiteboard. Jiang Yanchuan glanced at me and let out a deep sigh. The second question. Name 3 of the other person's flaws. I glanced at Jiang Yanchuan's whiteboard, but he had it completely covered, so I couldn't see anything. Time's up, and the whiteboards are revealed. What Jiang Yanchuan wrote was, none. What I wrote is too talkative. After locking eyes with Jiang Yanchuan for a few seconds, I guiltily looked away. Jiang Yanchuan is not honest at all. We clearly agreed to write honest thoughts, and during our argument when we broke up, he listed over 30 of my flaws. But in front of the camera, he has nothing to say. The live comments are going wild. Jiang Yanchuan, all these years of affection and time have been wasted after all. How talkative must Jiang Yanchuan be? To the comment above, when Xiao Yu was reading the novel earlier, he kept chattering beside her for half an hour just to get her attention. So yes, he really is quite talkative. Help. I'm genuinely starting to feel sorry for Jiang Yanchuan. If he keeps asking, his heart is going to shatter into pieces. The director clearly realized this as well, so the last question was directed at myself. Several guests began teasing him while everyone was distracted. I clasped my hands together toward Jiang Yanchuan and said, "Sorry, I just wrote it randomly without thinking." Jiang Yanchuan snorted coldly and ignored me. 9. From that day on, off camera, Jiang Yanchuan spoke very little. Even when I deliberately tried to start a conversation, he would say as few words as possible no matter how close we appeared on camera. Netizens still noticed something was off. What's going on? Did they have a fight? It looks sweet too, but it's clearly just acting. No way. Are they going to have a bad ending? This is the first time I've liked a couple so much. They should talk things out quickly. For a moment, the entire internet was urging me to make up with Jiang Yanchuan. Someone even dug up a video. In it, Jiang Yanchuan and I were wearing our high school uniforms, being interviewed together. In the video, I was earnestly answering questions, while Jiang Yanchuan was earnestly watching me. When asked about the city we wanted to visit, we gave two completely opposite directions. Jiang Yanchuan scratched the back of his head and suddenly said, "I just answered wrong. I actually prefer another city." The video ends here. I took out my phone and wanted to send a message to Jiang Yanchuan. "Are you free tonight? Can I treat you to dinner?" Jiang Yanchuan replied quickly, "Yeah." Still not much of a talker, I waited a few minutes. Wanting to make another effort, my phone suddenly froze, immediately followed by dozens of messages from Jiang Yanchuan. "You said you didn't like talkative men back then, and now I hardly speak anymore. Can we get back together?" He typed out this sentence, one word at a time. I scrolled several times before finishing reading this sentence. For a moment, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Jiang Yanchuan hasn't spoken to me these past few days. Did he go learn how to be aloof? I replied to him. Yes, there's no news from over there again. Not long after, Jiang Yanchuan himself appeared before me. He was clearly out of breath, having obviously run here. He stood in front of me without saying a word. I teased him, "What's the matter?" Struggling to decide whether to keep up your aloof persona. Jiang Yanchuan felt a bit aggrieved. "You think I talk too much?" Afraid I wouldn't admit it, he started listing examples one by one. "When we broke up, you said you hated men who had to share every little thing, even when they went to the bathroom, and then you ignored me. I held back for half a year, and when I finally got the chance to talk to you again, you found me annoying. You even think this is a flaw of mine." I coughed guiltily. "That was just an excuse. I didn't really think you talked too much." How was I supposed to know he could hold back for half a year without coming to find me? Jiang Yanchuan pressed me for the real reason. I gritted my teeth and said, "I had been saving that book list for so long, and not only did you insist on reading it, but you also made it all disappear." Of course, I was angry. Those were all hard for me to gather. Besides, I'm still upset about that over here. And Jiang Yanchuan actually sent me a message. "Baby, I'm in the bathroom right now. Wait for me to finish and I'll come pick you up." Folks, who can understand this? Jiang Yanchuan reports to me how many times he poops every day. I couldn't hold back during the argument and ended up mentioning this matter, but perhaps both of us were too angry at the time, and the argument escalated until we ended up breaking up. Jiang Yanchuan stared at me for a long time before finally realizing what I meant by the book list. He scooped me up from the sofa and led me back to the room. "No problem, I'll study up and write it for you." 10. The news of Jiang Yanchuan and I making up was first noticed by netizens. That day, the comment sections on both Jiang Yanchuan's and my Weibo were as lively as a New Year celebration. "I've been waiting for days, and you've finally made up. I almost lost my favorite show to watch while eating." That was close. At Jiang Yanchuan, "Be more careful next time, argue less, or I won't be able to eat. I'm the Civil Affairs Bureau." I walked over myself. "Are you two getting married or not?" After that, Jiang Yanchuan, under the pretext of satisfying the audience, became increasingly clingy. In the final episode before the variety show ended, everyone was a bit drunk, especially the director. Looking at me and Jiang Yanchuan, couldn't stop grinning foolishly. When I first proposed inviting him to the variety show, as soon as he heard you were coming, he agreed right away. Later, when I told him the price, guess what? He immediately had someone transfer the money to my account and even urged me to start filming quickly, saying he could invest more if it wasn't enough. Thank goodness you two got back together, otherwise he would have lost both the person and the money. I glanced at Jiang Yanchuan, who was frantically drinking water to hide his embarrassment, and couldn't help but laugh. Jiang Yanchuan took my hand, his face full of pride as he said, "As long as I can get you to pay attention to me, I'd be willing to pay 10 times more." My eyes lit up instantly. how about this, give me 10 times the amount, and I'll go with you to get the marriage certificate. Jiang Yanchuan had been pestering me about this for days, and I hadn't given in. It wasn't for any other reason, it was just that the little dress I bought for the marriage certificate hadn't arrived yet. I just received it today, and he immediately said he's willing to pay 10 times the price. Look at how this turned out. It wouldn't be right for me to refuse. Jiang Yanchuan suddenly turned his head to look at me. Are you serious? I tried my best to suppress the overwhelming joy of the huge sum about to come my way and nodded at him. Yeah, let's skip the middleman. This time, you can just give it directly to me. As the middleman himself, the director grinned from ear to ear. Jiang Yanchuan immediately took my hand and led me outside. As we walked, he didn't forget to transfer money to me later. When someone asked why Jiang Yanchuan and I disappeared during the final segment of the variety show, the director posted the entire process of us getting our marriage certificate, filmed by the camera crew following us, with the caption, "These two were afraid the Civil Affairs Bureau would close, so they rushed to get off work first." The news of Jiang Yanchuan and me getting our marriage certificate instantly spread across the entire internet. Many friends in the industry called to congratulate us upon learning about this. Jiang Yanchuan was almost fuming with anger. I was supposed to be the first to announce it officially, but he actually beat me to it. I watched him pacing back and forth and kindly reminded him, if you don't post it soon, you'll miss out on even my first repost. Upon hearing this, Jiang Yanchuan immediately calmed down. He pulled out his phone and opened Weibo, asking me to hold off on posting to avoid fans snatching the first repost. I waited until he was ready before pressing the send button. As soon as the Weibo post went live, Jiang Yanchuan tossed both his and my phones aside. Alright, let them repost as they please. It's time we get back to studying the novel you love to read. Me, impressive, 11. My daughter. With Jiang Yanchuan inherited nearly all of our best traits. Not only is she as lovely as a porcelain doll, but she also has a natural talent for acting. Therefore, before she started school, Jiang Yanchuan kept showing off his precious daughter everywhere until the little one had just started school and scored a 70 on her math test. I patted my chest to comfort myself, and also to comfort Jiang Yanchuan. The child is still young, with some tutoring, she can improve. Besides, no one is perfect. Jiang Yanchuan immediately hired a tutor to give lessons to the little one. Although her math grades weren't top-notch, they never held her back. I thought these were the only shortcomings she had inherited. Later, after finishing her math lesson, the little one rushed into my arms and asked, "Mom, what are Japanese pirates?" I asked her why she suddenly thought of this. She said, "I saw a video where Dad only scored 3 points in history, and you said you wanted to see what kind of Japanese pirate he was." I jolted up from my deathbed. Right, what if she inherited my poor math skills and also ended up being bad at history? I planned ahead and read various historical stories with her. Finally, I managed to nip the danger of her scoring only 3 points in history in the bud. Late at night, lying in bed, I let out a long sigh of relief. Thankfully, her political science grades are stable this time too. Otherwise, I'd really worry that her future boyfriend might like her just to see how morally lacking she is. Jiang Yanchuan chuckled softly. I glared at him. What are you laughing at? If it weren't for you insisting back then that you wanted to see what was in my head, would I be so afraid of her being unbalanced in her studies? Even after all this time, people are still making jokes about that line Jiang Yanchuan said about me. Don't I have any dignity? Jiang Yanchuan leaned over and kissed me. It's fine, as long as she stays true to herself. No matter what she's like, someone will like her. I snuggled into his arms and closed my eyes. 12. Jiang Yanchuan side story. The first time I saw Xiaoyu was in the office. The math teacher looked worried and asked her, "Xiaoyu, I see you perform well in all your other classes, so why do you sleep in my class? Do you think there's something wrong with my teaching?" Xiaoyu's face flushed red as she lowered her head and said, "The lecture was quite good, but I just couldn't understand it." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. The history teacher cleared his throat twice and glared at me. "What are you laughing at, Jiang Yanchuan? Can you score 3 points in history? I've been teaching for over a decade, and you're the first one like this." This time, it was Xiaoyu's turn to laugh. We agreed to tutor each other as soon as we left the office, but it turned out to be completely ineffective. I kept her 14-point math test, and she held on to my 3-point history test. Later, she cried while reading a novel during math class and got caught by the teacher on the spot. Thinking quickly, I explained, "She's upset because you never call on her in class." The math teacher glanced at Xiaoyu and comforted her. "Realizing your shortcomings is a good thing. Next time, if there's anything, you can communicate with the teacher." From that day on, Xiaoyu was called on in every class. Not only that, but the math teacher also told the other teachers to make sure to give Xiaoyu plenty of opportunities to answer questions. Don't dampen her enthusiasm for learning. Xiaoyu was so angry that she gritted her teeth and didn't speak to me for a long time afterward. Despite both of us having our own academic weaknesses, we managed to get into the same university. On the day we got together, Xiaoyu asked me what exactly I saw in her. I said, "I talk so much, and you're the first one to actually listen to me." How adorably strange. Xiaoyu nodded and said, "Oh, it's just that I've never met someone who talks as much as you do. It's actually quite cute." I took those words to heart. During the years we were in a relationship, we would chat hundreds of messages every day until, after graduating from college, we had an argument, and she said she hated people who even shared about going to the bathroom. Me, heartbroken. JPG, she actually finds me annoying. I started learning how to be a cold and aloof person. After practicing for half a year, I felt I had made some progress and tried every possible way to get on the same dating show as her. Through my relentless efforts, she agreed to marry me. We have finally achieved perfection. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.